everybody. Welcome back to Rally Pharma. If you're new here, hello. My name is Linda. I'm a registered pharmacist and I practice in Kenya. And in this channel, we'll just talk about health and pharmacy practice. So if that sounds good to you, please subscribe. So if you've been here long enough, you know we've been doing a series of careers in pharmacy. And today I'm going to continue with that series and I have a special guest. So Daktari, please welcome and tell us about yourself.
Okay, myself, I will tell you very briefly. My name is Kelvin Wandera. I'm a registered pharmacist and I work in the research setting. Currently, I'm an associate pharmacist at Impact Research and Development Organization based in Kisumu, Kenya. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for your brief introduction. I expected you'll go all the way the same way they ask you in an interview. Tell us about yourself, but it's fine. So today, as
Yeah.
I said, we are going to talk about clinical research as a career in pharmacy. So, Dr. kindly, what is clinical research?
So basically, clinical research, we can just put it in a simple term and say it's a medical research that involves people who are the human subjects in this case. And you also have an intervention. You are trying also a new treatment, and you're also trying a device. And you also have a manner in which you're going to collect the data. And this data is going to be analyzed finally to let us know if the intervention or the device that is being tested works or it's not working. Just a brief like that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. So I want to look at your journey. So how did you start? When did you start and how did you start? And what actually prompted you to go into the clinical research setting?
Started way back in 2011 when I joined KEMRI CGHR Kisumu. That is when I started hands-on research. And I must say that I've been lucky. I was mentored by two pharmacists. One pharmacist was the head of the HIV research branch at the clinical trial site. He gave me much insight to clinical trials, and I can say he's the one who baptized me by fire by giving me one study for TB.
Yeah.
It was a clinical trial for TB evaluating rifampicin, and that is the point where my interest grew. And from that point, I have developed myself more and more. And the other pharmacist was basically handling malaria branch. He came in supportingly, and I can say he also gave me too much insight
Yeah.
that has made me to what I am today, a very strong person in this field of clinical research.
Yeah, and I can attest to baptism by fire where you go to an organization, you're just bombarded with work and you're expected to deliver. So
Yes.
me about your roles and responsibilities. So like more of a day in life, what do you do in clinical research?
So basically, in clinical research, there are two cadres, or I can say there are two categories, not cadres. The cadre is a pharmacist, but in clinical research, we call like the pharmacist in charge in clinical pharmacist, we call him the pharmacist of record. So the roles of the pharmacist of record are also done by his assistant, who is also a pharmacist, and in this case, is also called the associate pharmacist. So basically, I can just throw in the roles that you're supposed to know and you're supposed to do. One, you are supposed to be at the pharmacy at all times to supervise all other staff within the pharmacy. As a clinical pharmacist, you're also supposed to be at the pharmacy when we are doing procedures for the pharmacy. You are the one who is going to coordinate the importation and clearance of the investigational product from the sponsor towards our Kenyan ports and ensure it reaches the site and its integrity is maintained. When we say integrity, we say if it's a cold chain, the required temperatures are spelled out in the protocol should be adhered. If there's anything wrong with that, you have to report back.
Mhm.
That is very key for you. Then you should also do an interdisciplinary coordination with other cadres within the clinic, Like let's say when you are arranging participant flow and ensuring like today we have 10 participants who are coming to volunteer, you should ensure that you get the information from the field staff, community staff, and also discuss with the clinic staff how you are going to manage the patient flow and ensure that the participants take less time when they are there. You're also supposed to train your fellow staff on good clinical practice and human subjects protection. This means that they have to do these trainings. These are online-based trainings, and they differ from one sponsor to another sponsor. And also the sites which are doing clinical research have a preferred website where you are supposed to do such trainings. Also, as a pharmacist of record, you're supposed to be at the pharmacy when we are doing what we call SIV. SIV means site initiation visit. That is where the monitor will come to the site and assess and say that this pharmacy is now ready to conduct this clinical trial. And as a whole, the whole clinic site is ready to do that. And then you have to be also present when there is an interim monitoring visit. These are visits that are done from time to time just to evaluate the data you collect within the clinical research site. So all those are some of the roles you should be able to carry out as a pharmacist. And remember, the protocol will also spell other roles that you're going to do uh, in a form of what we call a manual of operations. Some will let the pharmacy do what we call aseptic technique procedures. This is where you aseptically prepare these doses and issue them to the participants. So in a nutshell, those are the few things I can say for now. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And I'm just curious, do you do maybe the pharmacovigilance part? Like, for instance, because I understand when we are doing the regulatory affairs, there's usually that part for reporting adverse drug reactions. Now, on the clinical research aspect, who is responsible for this?
Basically, the pharmacist will do that under the PPB clinical trials portal. And also, when you're doing the regulatory submissions, this happens in the first part. Like for us to start a clinical trial, we need to submit to an ethics committee. Thereafter, submit to PPB. So it is ethics committee first, get a response, then go to PPB. After PPB, then you go to NACOSTI. After you have PPB and CERU. And for all ADRs, you also report to the sponsor and the PPB, basically.
Okay, thank you. So earlier on, you mentioned there are some trainings that someone is supposed to undertake for them to have hands-on skills. So what are some of these trainings and what are some of these skills required for you to be a clinical research pharmacist?
So the protocol first is the first training, and basically for the protocols we normally organize an in-house training whereby there is a team of I can say the elites who have studied the protocol in depth, and also the monitor is also invited at site just to give insight of what the protocol is required. That is the first training you'll get. And then prior to that, you should have done what we call good clinical practice, and you should have done what we call human subjects, human subjects research protection. So all these, you can get them in a common site called the CT website, which I think I can share the link with you
Yeah.
later.
Yeah.
From here also, you can get GCP training from there's this site called the Global Health Trials.
Yeah.
It has the GCP, Introduction to Clinical Research, the research question. It has also the study protocol. It has got the Data Safety and Monitoring Board and how to conduct GCP inspections at the investigator site. So when you combine all those, plus the training. And then after the in-house training, there is what we call a wet run and a dry run. So the dry run and the wet run is just to create like something like a decoy of how you as a volunteer will come into the clinical trial, who will receive you, and what procedures will be done. In this case, we normally do a full procedure and evaluate, let's say, the time that the participant is likely to take. And this will inform other procedures, like, let's say, pharmacy. If there is a study product to be prepared or a study product to be dispensed, it will also inform how long the pharmacy takes, how long the clinical department takes. And also, it will also test the data collection tools, whereby this data can be keyed into the system. Basically, clinical trials I have worked in, we have used Medidata Rev, we have used what you call Castor EDC, just to capture the data for the participants. So all these are being tested after that. Thank you.
Okay, so let's say I've gone to the websites, I have done the trainings, and then I'm looking for a job. Yeah, so where do I start? Like, where do I start in terms of maybe looking out for a job? And when applying for that job, what particularly should I look out for?
So basically, when you are looking for these pharmacy clinical research jobs, the best place to start looking are the research institutions we have within the nation of Kenya. And the biggest research institution, is Kenya Medical Research Institute. So you start looking from there. You have to look at an advert that will spell out they need a research pharmacist, or they'll just say they need a pharmacist to work in research. So that is the first place you look. Other organizations that I know also do research, we have, okay, KEMRI has a number of branches, even here at Kisumu, they say Kisumu City or Kisumu, yeah, Kisumu City. There are
Yes.
a number of KEMRI KEMRI branches which can need a pharmacist. So you look there first. And then we have got KEMRI, Walter Reed. In Kericho, we have KEMRI, Kilifi, and other organizations that also do research, like our organization is called Impact Research. From time to time, when we need a pharmacist, I'm very sure we will advertise. And then that is the first place. Then the second question was about looking for it. You have to prepare yourself for an interview.
Yes.
The interview basically will combine all the things you have learned. Let's say if you have done GCP, if you have done HSP, and you applied, and we see basically you have attached such a certificate, we are very sure that you are very conversant with what we want. And also, something not to forget is that you should also learn something about the cold chain. The cold chain basically comes from the WHO. You can go to WHO. You just type open WHO. You'll get trainings to do with cold chain. This will also inform you on how these investigation products are stored. So basically, those are the things you should go for. And then, last but not least, for those who have just finished their bachelor's in pharmacy, I think it will be a good opportunity for you to look for apprenticeship opportunities in these research institutions. Just come in and see what we do, and also learn something, because uh, it- when you learn something, I think it will help you get the interest. And then, as you also do all this, I think you must have an interest to do these things, because it is a very demanding job, and sometimes you might forget things and you need someone just to QC or check you back. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. So you've mentioned maybe an entry level. So I want to look at the salary range. So from maybe entry level until maybe you're a specialist. How? Because in the interviews you're told what is your expected salary. Maybe I do not, I've never been in this field, it's my first time. So what is the expected maybe salary range for a pharmacist who's in the clinical research practice?
So, salary will have to differ depending on experience. And experience here, we are saying the number of years you have spent doing clinical work. And it is not easy to determine, because while you're also at the panel being interviewed, and you're looking for this job, surely
Yeah.
you have to have a minimum bargaining power. So the minimum bargaining power, you should start from what you are earning at the time you go to your internship. Just go back, check what you are earning at your internship, then add a small margin, and then start from there to bargain. Because I can tell you, can give you 1 million, then the funding that we get for the clinical trial may not support that.
True.
But I'm very sure when we advertise a position, there is a salary cutoff point. And also, just for those who are seeking salary questions to be answered nicely, just give a range. So in this case, I can just give a range of around, let's say, just a guess. It's not what is there for entry level.
Yeah.
For entry level, I can say you just start with 250, 220, and then that is for entry when you're really very fresh and you don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And then should you be an advanced kidogo or small advanced, I think you can quote 280 moving onwards. And if you are very advanced like some of us, I think the cake should grow big.
Wait, actually, are
Yeah,
you
it should.
talking about gross or net?
I'm talking about the net.
What? Wow, I think I should now run to clinical research. Yeah, after this.
Gross
Mhm.
gross of 220 won't be so good for you.
Yeah, yeah, it's true.
With the current economic times, as you gauge yourself fresh entry. But if you get a net of 220 starting where, I think it's an eye opener.
Yeah,
Because also the job is not so easy. You have to be very, very attentive to detail. So in as much as you're attentive to detail, you have to be also motivated in a way.
yeah, yeah, it's very true. So if there's anybody out there who's watched this and they want to go to the clinical pharmacy practice like myself, because I've been motivated by salary and by everything that you talked about, what advice can you give us?
The best advice is that this research work, I can say it's not only pharmacy.
Yeah.
You can also join the contact research organization. These are the CROs, and see what they offer. And from time to time, these CROs also require remote pharmacy jobs for monitoring. Have you ever come across remote oncology pharmacy jobs? So such things will also need you to join the CRO, train with the CRO, get a certificate, then add to your bachelor's, and if you have passed through somewhere and got an apprenticeship, I'm very sure you are a good candidate. So the best thing to get such a job, I can say there are these CROs in Kenya like CLINWIN. CLINWIN can assist you to be a CRO. There are also these ones which are abroad like Varis. We have another one called Clean Essentials, which I will share their links and their names. And then after you do their trainings, and there are various trainings, so you should be very keen on which training you want.
Mhm.
So as a pharmacist, I can advise you just be a monitor towards pharmacy. That can also be good. And then if it is research-based work within the pharmacy, whereby you're going to be there, you're going to attend to the participants, look for KEMRI and other research institutes, which I think I can share them later. And then it can also be very helpful for you if you connect with people working in the CROs. Like I can give an example of IQVIA. I can give an example of PPD or Thermofisher. I can give an example of Icon. I can give an example of J&J. I can give an example of OnQ Research. So these are CROs that are able to provide you with jobs. Like Thermofisher was advertising a CRA job just the other day. So if you are keen and you have subscribed to their talent acquisition program, you will get those notifications via mail and you're able to check.
Yep.
But what I know, for you to qualify, you must have done a CRO job, a CRO course. Then that puts you at an elevated point. So with all these being considered, the basic thing, if you are a fresh guy and you're planning to go into it, I can tell you, number one, you have to be a good reader and your memory has to be very sharp to ensure that you understand what you are reading in the protocol. And also, there are some supplements to the protocol which are called manuals of operations. They detail out what you're supposed to do. So in these manuals, you might find procedures. So you should be able to do those procedures. And if you also get the hands-on experience from those who are, let's say, very much experienced, you'll be at a very good position.
Thank you so much. So lastly, if somebody has watched this and maybe they want to get into contact with you so that you can assist them, so how do they go about it?
So basically, I think the best place for you to ask me much will be on my LinkedIn page. Just look for, there are two things you can look for. Look for Kenya Impact Research, and then look for the associate pharmacist. You get Dr. Kelvin Jerry. There, you get me. And also you can just search on LinkedIn, Dr. Kelvin Jerry, Impact Research. I'm very sure you'll get me. Come to my inbox, then I can share much that I have, because the last 13 years have not been so easy working within these corridors of research. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much, Doc. I really appreciate for you taking your time and just coming here talking to us about our research. And if you're out there and you'd want to maybe ask Doc a few questions, just leave them in the comment section. Then he can respond to them, or I can forward to him and then he will respond to the questions. So thank you so much for watching. I know you liked this video. Please like it so that it can reach other people, it can reach other pharmacists and have an impact in their lives. So thank you so much, Doc. I really appreciate your time, and thank you everyone for watching, and I'll see you on my next video. Bye bye.